Today I'm going to show you how to search another one of the library databases that we pay a subscription for, and that's called ABC-Clio. So I'm going to have you go to that Library Electronic Resources page, that shared document in your drive. And I'd like you to access that again. And from that document, if you scroll down, you will see the bottom of the first page a link to something called ABC-Clio. And ABC-Clio contains 4 databases, one on world geography, one on American history, one on world history, and I believe we don't have one in international controversies. I think we changed that to modern history, I believe. We can check that when we get into the site. And this is where it's going to get a little tricky because we're between pages. But if you click on the link, all you need to remember is once you're on the link, the username is Brattle1, all lowercase, and then the password is Vermont with a capital V. So I'm going to click on the link. And I'm going to enter in Brattle1. Actually, it's saved to my computer, Brattle1. And the password is actually also saved. So it's Vermont, capital V, and then lowercase ERMONT. And I'm going to press login. And again, this is another site that we actually pay money for. So we've limited the access to this list of database usernames and passwords because really these products are only supposed to be used by people within the school, but we've allowed access to people within the WSESU, which is nice. Okay, when the main screen comes up, the way you know it's one of our databases is you'll see Welcome Brattleboro Union High School Library. Sometimes you'll see Brattleboro Area Middle School, but for the most part we put it under one account, Union High School. Okay, you can do a couple of things here. You can search all databases. You can search specific databases. And what I found over time is that it's actually better to search all databases because you'd be surprised at what little known fact pops up. Something that you think should fall under world geography oftentimes will fall under world history, ancient and medieval eras. You're not sure why it's happened. So in order to search all of them, all we're going to do is we're going to enter in a word or phrase in the text box, and then we're going to check the database that we wish to search before clicking the search button. Now I've already decided that I'm going to check off all databases. I want it to search all of them at the same time. And I'm going to use the same search term that I used when I did an advanced power search in the Gale databases. And I'm going to try the Nile River again. So let's see, we've got the Nile River. And I'm going to click Go to search. And it gives me some information right away. It tells me a little bit of information in my search results. There are results for Nile River in the following databases. Click on the link to go to that database and view its results. Well, ironically enough, we actually got hits, as it were. We have results in all 4 of the databases. But looking at this, when I see something like American history and I think of the Nile River, the two don't necessarily go hand in hand. So I might eliminate that. It's only eight different bits of information. So is it that important? We've got world geography. We've got 74. We've got world history, ancient and medieval eras, 166. That's looking pretty strong. And then we've got world history, the modern era. So my best guess is that the results that show up in the American history and the world history, the modern era databases are probably for information on the Nile River in present day. If I was doing a compare and contrast between then and now, maybe I would want to use that. But for right now, I really truly think this world history, ancient and medieval eras might be the best place to go. So I'm going to click on those results, and then it's a lot. It's 166. Let's see what we get. Okay. And this is a very different type of database because, in some ways, it shows me my list of 166 results. And then it does something else, which I really appreciate. It gives me a list of topics as well. So the first thing I probably would want to do, I might want to scroll down here, but 153, that's really quite a bit. What if I went over here and I narrowed down my results by filtering them. And that's the same thing that I did really with the Gale databases. So I don't really want glossary terms. I know I want some reference articles. I know for biography, do I really want biographical articles? I don't know. I know I need a timeline, so perhaps timeline will be important. I can make sure I have photos and illustrations. I can make sure I have visuals. So I probably would like some of that because it's never a bad thing to have a picture. Then there's something called cultural documents and letters and narratives. And I wonder if there's any more information on that. I'm going to come back to that later. So if I limit it to these, let's see what happens. If I click on filter, I started out with 166 results, and now I'm down to 96. Might be better. That really might be better. And the way I can tell that they're reference articles or timelines, photos or illustrations or visuals is it tells me, it gives me a little bit of information. It kind of sums up the article itself, and then it tells me what type of resource it is, which is handy. So this first link, and I often do go to the first one first, and I know I shouldn't. First one is a reference article about the Nile River, and it's set in ancient Egypt. It actually tells me that. It's kind of important. I've got an aerial view, so I can see a picture of what it looked like. I've got a picture of one of the cataracts on the Nile River. I've got a picture of the cows grazing. Oh, that's kind of cool too. The marshland. So maybe I'm thinking this could be important if I'm looking at the contributions of the Nile River. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top, and anything in blue will be a link to the actual article itself. So I'm going to click on this first link. And again, I can listen to it. I can print the document. I can email this document to myself. I can cite this document. I can also translate it into another language. If you really want to do that, you got extra time on your hands, that's great. Probably won't need to. So I'm going to scroll through here, and what I do like is that original search term that I used shows up at the beginning. Just as a reminder, yeah, I was searching the Nile River. Okay, so the Nile River in Africa gave rise to one of the earliest and most sophisticated peoples of the ancient world, the Egyptians. Oh, okay. I'm guessing this might be something that I'm going to want to use. It's a short article, but it gives me further reading that I can go to. It gives me an MLA citation. Sometimes these articles are short, sometimes they're longer. Anything that shows up in blue in here will bring you to another link. So if you're looking at the Nile River and you see this link to the Fertile Crescent, by clicking on it, it's going to switch you over to another article. You need to remember that, especially if you have a problem paying attention or you're easily distracted. That can be a little uncomfortable for some of you. So just a quick reminder. So I'm going to go back to my Nile River, and I've decided I do want to use this. I would like to cite this document. And there's my citation right here. And I can copy and paste that if I wanted to. I'd like to go back to my original list of articles, though, my original 166, because I think this is also kind of cool. Of the 166, 153 related to the library and 13 related to topics. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to click on topics. And oftentimes what ABC-Clio does is they look at an entire culture. And they did that here. Defining Egypt. Egypt, gift of the Nile. Agriculture in the Nile. River Valley civilizations. These are huge articles, I do believe. So I'm actually going to look at some of these, because some of these say that they're transcripts, some say that they're overviews. And an overview is often an awful lot of information about a particular topic that helps give you context. So I'm going to click on Egypt, Gift of the Nile Overview. And as I look through this, I notice there are pictures. It looks at the geography of ancient Egypt, agriculture along the Nile, travel and trade on the Nile, and again, an MLA citation. Looking through here, though, it doesn't look like this is terribly difficult to actually read. If I find a picture that I like, I can click on it to enlarge it, which I actually think is sort of nice. And the other thing it gives you the citation for any of the materials that you find. So actually you should be citing a photo or illustration, and it gives you that information, which I think is kind of cool. The other thing that this allows is for your teachers to actually look at a particular topic, and then there's support materials that are actually embedded in it. But we can use that, we can save that for another day. So I'm going to go back to my links here, back to my 153, and by scrolling through here and looking at some of the descriptions under each entry among the results list, I can decide which ones I actually want to look through. You can find a long article, you can find a short article. What I like about this is if you want to put in the time and the effort, you can probably find what you're looking for, and I think this also can meet a wide range of student interest and student ability. And that's how we're going to access ABC-Clio. The one other thing I'd recommend that you do is when you're done, you're probably going to want to log out. Thanks a lot!